Yeah, podcast, yeah. That's what you know what it is. Listen to it.
Podcast. It says it on the title.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Well, good afternoon.
Still hungover. Good night.
Yeah, we kind of are. Well, I'm okay now, but we apologise because we thought we're going to be able to do this on the day. But we drank too much.
Yeah, as soon as we got home, it was like...
Long story short, we drank too much. But
yeah, we had to... My ass is in tatters.
That's a long story.
I can shorten it. I was pissed up and I went down a kid's slide and landed on my ass.
Yep.
And because I'm 30, it hurts more.
See, you don't just get wrestling, you get comedy.
You get our lives, you get our story of what we did building up to the pay-per-view.
We invite you into our world. But,
oh.
So he's in pain now.
Ass hurts every time I laugh.
You will get groans during this podcast.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, we just discussed, we did want to do it on the day, but because of drink and stuff, we've had 24 hours to stew in it, so we've gave it deeper thought on what the card happened. So, Super Show-down.
So, network exclusive, what was meant to be.
Yeah, it ended up being on the box office as well, which is deemed pointless.
So, just kind of like a glorified house show.
But yeah, it was a nice change of pace to have one, like, 10 o'clock in the morning kind of thing, so you didn't have to stay up too late. Again, it wouldn't have mattered because we stayed up too late the night before. But yeah, it's Friday night, you want to go out. So... Yeah, it was. It had that WrestleMania feel again because they when they go and do these exclusives in Saudi Arabia, Australia, whatever, they get paid so much money, they go all out for it. Yeah. They bring the pyros back and everything. But which will kind of become clear as we talk about it more. It still just seemed more of a glorified house show, more than the pay-per-view feel they were obviously trying to go for. And unfortunately, it was due to the standard of matches more than anything.
There was a lot of botches.
Botchamania is going to have it. Sorry, I'm plugging another
Super Botch-down.
Plugging another YouTube channel here. Botchamania are going to have a field day with that. Yeah, so Super Botch-down or Super Shit Show, whatever you want to call it.
Super Shit Show.
But it wasn't the worst show I've ever seen.
Still some good things to happen.
Yeah,
it's just overall. I clearly remember in my mind picking out some specific like botches and bits that went wrong, and those are the things that are sticking more than anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like what if I can see it as. It's like obviously Raw and SmackDown and normal episodes of wrestling they're the shows that build up to these pay-per-views once a month or whatever it is. This one seemed to be like this is the pre-pay-per-view kind of thing. So, it did kind of set up some cases, but the more I think about it, it's like, right, let's just call it what it was. It was a show for Australia more than the rest of the wrestling world. So, anyway, we'll get going.
First match.
So, no pre-show, which was a nice change of pace.
Yeah, it was good, to be honest.
Just like, let's go!
I don't care about the pre-show. On we go.
Yeah, and it was The Bar versus The New Day for SmackDown Tag Team titles.
It was good.
It was good. Unfortunately,
it was a good match.
It was one of them where, if this is the start of the pace the show's going to go at, it's going to be a good show, and then it kind of dropped off the radar a little bit. But Australian fans seemed just well into it from the get-go. Huge pops.
They were going massive pops.
So it's like, right, the crowd are good tonight. They're going to be...
Which always helps, because it builds your own energy up, and then you get more invested. It helps your adrenaline.
Yeah, it's like, if you're there, the atmosphere around you is an obvious help, but wrestling is such a strange business. When you watch it on TV, you get that adrenaline rush yourself.
Yeah.
Of going... And maybe it's because of how we are as fans now, of that... We're so ecstatic and happy that when our show that we're fans of is doing well, we're happy for it.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was a very solid match. New Day never disappoint.
Yeah, it did some good spots, good moments. I was surprised Big E wasn't in the match. I was surprised it was Kofi and Xavier, but they did really well.
Yeah, I don't know how they ever decide that. I don't know if it's a Vince thing or New Day themselves decide, is it your turn? Do you want to, but the Bar never disappoint either. I've always been a firm fan of Cesaro. Sheamus is a solid worker as well.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. You stick him anywhere and he'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, Sheamus, the last I heard, Sheamus was injured, and I thought he was going to go away for a while. But that seems to have dropped off the radar a little bit now. So
maybe he was not that bad then.
Either that or they're unfortunately ignoring it.
The main thing that pops up to me in this match is the final moment.
Seems like a new finisher.
Yeah, a new finisher. It's like a backbreaker / coup de grace.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like they put him into a backbreaker, and then obviously Kofi dropped a coup de grace on him, and then that was it, 1, 2, 3. I thought, that's something new.
I like that,
like it fucking hurt.
Well, it was one of them where, again, I think I said, just if I was nitpicking, it'd be like, it would have been, obviously the backstabber happened, and then he held him in position, ready for Xavier to jump. It would be a lot cooler if it was a smooth transition of, as he hits the backstabber, Xavier hits the kick. So it's just the impact of both at the same time.
Yeah.
That might be too dangerous. Maybe that's not why they didn't go for it. But I'm hoping it wasn't just a one-off because Cesaro was capable of taking the blow kind of thing. But New Day still your SmackDown Tag Champions.
Which we expected.
Yeah, but again, it was a great opener.
Yeah.
Which we, again, wishfully thinking was hoping it was going to continue the pace, but it kind of went all over the place.
Yeah.
Next was the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yeah, Becky and Charlotte, which I was like, again, I was surprised this was lower down. I thought it'd be a bit higher up, considering how well they've been building this feud, because everybody's loving Becky.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I thought that she deserves to be a bit further at the card.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, the third party that was with us yesterday, Mr. Matthew Goff. There's a plug for you,
Matty.
Yeah. He didn't like the ending at all because Becky just got herself disqualified
by hitting Charlotte with the title or whipping her with the title.
Yeah,
and I tend to agree with that. It's a bit of a kind of a sloppy finish.
It was. What I took from it though is like, right, that was what would have been a typical house show match. It was also they're obviously sticking with their guns of like, nah, we're going to keep Becky. Becky is the heel thing. We're going to try it. Even though
she even tried to walk out in the middle of the match as well, didn't she?
Yeah.
I was just like, no.
A lot of people
I don't want that. I don't mind her being a heel, but be the heel that's dominant. She's doing all this barking and talking, and she hasn't got anybody around her to help her around. She is by herself. Why can't she just be this dominant heel and pin her 1, 2, 3 and go, fucking told you I can do this? But she's just being the... It seems to me that, I said this when we were watching it seems to me that WWE are dead set that when someone is a heel, they have to be dastardly and heel tactics, and they have to want to run away from a match and not want to do it properly. And why do you have to do it all the time? There can be different types of heel. If they get in stock, and it's annoying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people at first were hoping for the double turn of them going, no, actually, we're so behind Becky and Charlotte's so good at heel, do the swish around. Looks like WWE is sticking to their guns, which is fair enough. I think if Becky was getting booed, because she is playing the heel now, before that match, they might have said, okay, well, they're booing you don't have to do the dirty tactics. It might have been their way of going, do the dirty tactics to try and get more boos and cheers here, because we realise the crowd are behind you, but for whatever reason, we want to stick with you as the bad guy, Charlotte as the good guy. And I think it was more placed on the card purely for a treat for Australia. Of going, we know you're aware this feud is going on. We know we're not around here much, so we're going to give you Becky Charlotte. And I think that was it. It's kind of the filler match for the show, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it was all right, but the ending was a bit meh.
Yeah,
it's just the way they're wanting to portray Becky. It's just, I feel like she could be a better heel than that.
They've got to be careful now because they announced later on in the show that the rematch is happening on SmackDown this Tuesday. And it wouldn't surprise me if it happens the following SmackDown as well, because it's SmackDown 1000, and they're obviously going to have a match at Evolution.
They want to beat a dead horse.
Yeah, if you're going to do the same thing over and over again, it's going to get...
You've got to juice it up.
Yeah, and if you do it within literally a week of each other, it's just going to get boring real fast. So hopefully they'll do like the first ever women's ladder match or something at Evolution to spice it up a bit. But we'll see what happens. There's potential still there. Next was the return of John Cena.
Yes,
Mark Wahlberg.
Or JBL Cena.
Yeah,
well, he looked like JBL.
Yeah, John Bradshaw Cena.
Or some kind of like... He really aged with that fucking hair. He looked like a fucking accountant or something.
Yeah, it was
just one of those dads that still tries to keep himself ripped.
Maybe he's keeping himself that haircut for a movie coming up, something, I don't know, because it was one of them again where I couldn't really think of many spots during it. Obviously, Elias and Kevin had their thing.
The thing that annoyed me is the fact that Cena literally got the hot tag at the end, did his sixth move of doing,
stupid new
like punch thing,
and
pinned him 1, 2, 3, and that was it. I was like, You brought Cena all the way over to Australia
for 6
for
months.
that.
And
you
probably got a big paycheck as well.
Yeah, it's like, come on, he's not Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? But let him go in and out of the match. He just literally did the closing moments.
Well, again, the hindsight thing is going, are they not wanting to risk injury with Cena if he has got a new movie, if they've got plans for him, or which is still stupid, because if that's the case, it's like, well, just don't book the match.
Don't bring him in.
I know, unless John said, I really want to go to Australia or something like that. But I liked the Elias and Kevin thing at first because we played Thunderstruck.
He started doing Thunderstruck and everyone was like,
It's cool. Kevin and Elias on the mic, I'm going to always listen to them.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware with how the match went, Elias and Kevin dominated it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Lashley did a lot of the work. And then, like we said, hot tag, Cena.
I remember when Lashley dived through the ropes and Elias wasn't even anywhere near him.
Yeah.
It's just like, you would have missed him even if he was closer.
He took the big bump, I'll give Lashley that. It's hard, it's just hard to get behind Lashley. He's just not got that factor for me.
Yeah, there's something missing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I agree with you, I think he's still smiling too much.
He is, I think,
if you
a heel turn by him would be
I think that would boost him.
Or at least a stable. But don't put him with Titus Worldwide, because that, for me, that's just like, if you're in Titus Worldwide, you've got no chance.
You're giving up,
So it was more than this. I suppose it was just like a SmackDown tag team match.
Yeah.
Cena had his little speech.
Yeah, just thanking everybody. It's like, this has no reason to be in here at all. I don't see the point at all. What are you saying thank you for?
It was purely just to have John Cena on the card, I think.
Yeah.
But which I don't get, because the original match was meant to be John Cena versus Kevin Owens, and then they changed it to this tag team, which I don't know if it's like, oh, we better put Elias and Lashley, more names, more input from the fans. No, actually, I would have preferred Cena Kevin.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of meh.
Yeah, so that happened. Next was the Iconics.
Yeah, Iconics versus
Asuka and
Naomi. Everybody was loving the Iconics. They obviously because they're Australia. It was a meh match.
Yeah,
and I'll be honest, I didn't think the Iconics were going to win. I know they were in Australia, but I thought to myself, they're not really going to let Asuka lose this, are they? But then Naomi was the one that ate the pin.
Yeah, the unfortunate.
But I don't remember anything specific that made me go, that was a good moment.
Yeah,
it was just a meh.
I can't remember any moves. I can remember a lot of taunting and their little, like, Iconics little girly.
Asuka was dancing a lot with Naomi.
See, this is the problem. They did that weird, like, double dance thing, hoping for a reaction of the crowd. And the crowd were like, A, who cares? And B,
wrestle, bitch.
But B, they don't want Asuka to be that character. They want Asuka to be the badass Empress of Tomorrow she was in NXT. And we're not having it with this Naomi bullshit. So,
I don't know, I like Naomi, and I like the whole dancing thing and everything, and I think that works really well for her character. I know you don't like her, but don't add Asuka into it.
Naomi's one of them where, don't get me wrong, she's done okay for herself, and I think she's above the mid-card level of the women's division, but not exactly main event level. She's kind of caught in the middle somewhere. What my brother said, because he hasn't watched the show yet, but he asked at the end of the match, I think he knew the Iconics won. He asked, did Asuka turn heel? And I was like, why, was that a rumour on the card? And he goes, I don't know, but it would have made a lot more sense for Asuka to be annoyed that they lost, just flip out and attack Naomi. And I would have been fine with a Naomi-Asuka storyline going against each other. Especially,
it actually gives them something to do.
Well, also, if you thought Asuka was a badass in NXT, being a good guy, when she's heel, all bets are off. She can be a strong style bitch, just destroying opponents. But hey ho, we didn't get that. It just seemed like, again, it was purely for the Iconics. That's why it was a women's tag match.
And it's a shame, because it's a shame when they do things like that. It's like, we're just doing this just because of this.
Yeah.
It's like, well, put a bit of effort in.
Yeah, you did see the Iconics appreciated it. They got emotional at the end of the match.
That's fine.
But of course, they're in their home country.
Meh.
The next match was the WWE Championship.
Yes, Joe versus AJ.
I think
this was good.
Since the start of this rivalry, I think it's the best match they've had.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I'm kind of annoyed that Joe didn't win. If I'm honest, I think it was his time. I mean, hopefully he'll get it soon. because he really does deserve it.
I know you didn't like it was a submission victory.
Yeah, that was again my only disappointment, is that you actually allowed Joe to be tapped out. I don't want that. Just try it, let him get out of it, and then just forearm the shit out of him and pin him. Yeah. That's fine, but I don't want this big, massive beast of a man who can really knock you for 6, which he did with AJ quite a few times in this match. Knocked him on his ass, and then he taps out. I know they were working towards the leg, and they're saying, "Oh, it popped out," and all this kind of stuff in the match, and he worked his way on that, and that was a really good storytelling when he was hitting it with the chair and all that kind of stuff.
It's a good explanation.
It was great. It was reasonable explanation for the tap out, and I'll probably let it slide as time goes on. But at that exact moment, I was like, don't agree with that.
But is that more you as a fan of wanting Joe to have the victory?
Yeah, it's probably me being biased.
Yeah,
it's me a personal reason. It's not a case of I think everyone should agree and say that's the wrong decision. It's because I understand why they did it and they made it plausible for him to tap out, but for me personally, I would have preferred a pin.
If I don't think that the rivalry's over, I think there will be another match at SmackDown 1000 at least.
I hope so.
So maybe they were playing on the idea of going, right, this is over now, and AJ got justice for his family, that's retribution, now we can move on. Oh, actually, no, we're not moving on. It might be one of those try for a double swerve thing. I think it was a very good match. They did a lot of the good spots, a lot of trickery. Like with the Joe thing, I was like, is his leg really out?
Yeah.
And then when AJ pulled the ref aside, like, no, you leave him. He's mine.
He just gingerly kind of grabbed his chest and pushed him up and away.
Yeah, it's like
to say,
you leave him.
Yeah, leave him alone.
This is payback for my family.
I am getting him for this.
A lot of false finishes. At one point, they did fool me in the whole Coquina clutch rollover thing. Like, it's going to happen the same thing again.
It's going to tap him.
And then, by the third time we got the Coquina clutch in, it's like, this is it.
It's got to be it, Like, we were dead set it was going to happen.
So, if AJ hadn't worked on the leg at all and got the calf crusher in and Joe tapped out, I'd 100% agree with you. Like, what? No, Joe's more a monster than that. Yeah. But the fact that they worked on the leg to play that injury of going, no, Joe's had enough, I'm okay with that. But no, I'm hoping it's not the end, because
it's one of those feuds that there's still some left in the tank, and I'm still fine with seeing it. Because you look at other feuds, there's certain times where they get to this point where they've wrestled 4th, 5th time. Yeah. Like, right, it's starting to get stale now. But with this, it's not getting stale for me yet. Yeah. I could go for another couple of rounds watching them go at it. As long as they had a couple more stipulations and they work themselves well with the storyline like they've been doing, I think they could get a good end for this when they finish it up. Yeah,
I mean, the third party again, Mr. Matt mentioned that his girlfriend just doesn't like Joe or this storyline at all because of the edginess of it. But this is why I like it.
Yeah, because Joe's just amazing at being that.
If it ain't edgy, you've got no reason to tune in, because then everything's stale and the same. Which is why this storyline does stand out for everybody. It's more as well, not only do I want Joe to be champion, it's more, the longer AJ holds that belt, the more it's going to get stale, and you're just going to get bored of AJ being champion.
Exactly, that's the thing, and I'm literally getting to that point now where his promo's starting to get a bit stock for me, and I think it's time for him to lose the championship. And the thing is, you don't want to go through a whole feud with Joe, a reasonable and pretty decent feud that I'm enjoying, not give it to him, and then have him drop the belt to the next feud on the very first go.
Yeah,
because it diminishes Joe. It's like, oh right, so he goes through all that, gets nothing, then he goes against this person and he gets it.
Yeah, I mean, they do this a lot. Well, don't get me wrong, I know what they're trying to do of going, not only have we got the WWE Championship element in it, but we've made it personal, but sometimes it's better to split the idea, so to speak. So on one side, for example, if AJ wasn't champion now, he could be anyone else on the SmackDown roster. He could be in a rivalry with somebody else. There's your WWE Championship rivalry. If this was just a normal rivalry between Joe and AJ, something on Joe saying, you've always stole the spotlight for me in TNA, and you're doing it here, and made it personal, you've got 2 for the price of 1 there. You're going to tune into a pay-per-view, I've got a WWE Championship match and this personal rivalry with Joe and AJ.
The title doesn't need to be there. It's just that added bit of flavour that makes it even better.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I kind of want it to continue isn't just for Joe to win the championship, but I'm thinking, if Joe has gone so far at the moment to get a championship match and to rile AJ up, now that he's lost again, how much further is he willing to go?
He'll play on the fact that AJ played on his leg.
Yeah.
He'll be like, you took advantage of me when I got injured.
Yeah. But was he going to do more with his family or what? Or,
hopefully.
Yeah.
So I know it sounds horrible, but it just...
It's captivating.
Every time, it's captivating because you look at it like, if you were in that position, you'd be going nuts like AJ does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'd be going spare.
I mean...
That's what makes it a good storyteller.
What would be cool for me is that even if he didn't invade the Styles home again, if he did something like where he just said something that was so over the line that whether AJ is there or not, it gets that crowd reaction of like, you cannot say that. How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
If AJ were to turn it around the following week and like appear at Joe's family's house and stuff and turn the tables around and Joe like, you stay away from my family, and AJ goes, I'll give you another shot, but now I'm in your head. We're going to finish this once and for all, whether it's SmackDown 1000, whatever. But I've got more to say on it later on, but it'll be relevant as we get there.
For the next match.
Sorry, bear with me. I forgot what the following match was.
Was it triple threat?
Oh no, the next was the 6-woman tag.
Oh yes, it's so Ronda and the Bellas versus
the Riot Squad.
And again, the only thing that really stands out in my mind is the finish.
Well, to me, it was the start as
cool.
well. But it was the start where Ronda and I can't remember if it was Nikki or Brie now. They were arguing on who would start the match.
But they never followed up on it.
No, it might be planting the seed.
I know, but they planted the seed and I thought, surely that's going to sprout at the end of the match.
Yeah, that's what we were all hoping, and it just kind of like, nah, they're just going to celebrate their... Yeah, so there you go, Riot Squad won. No, sorry, Riot Squad lost. Yeah, it was an okay match. It was all about the hot tag for Ronda. They finished, like you say, the double armbar.
The double armbar. They kind of like arched up into it, and that was cool.
Yeah, I did like, even though it was a bit sloppy because it's a tongue where someone.
Brie grabbed Liv's tongue.
Yeah, but again, with something as slippery as that, it's always going to like slip out your hand and stuff.
Yeah, it was a bit of a.
But
it was a cool little match.
It was a different thing to try. Yeah.
Luckily, Brie didn't fucking injure anyone this time. Botch anything this time.
Which
is weird considering how many botches are on this card.
Yeah,
I'm surprised Brie didn't do it.
I can't remember what it was now. I'm probably going to promote another channel here, but there's John O'Clock motherfuckers, who used to do Kim Ross.
He
just shit all over JBL for that part of his YouTube show. I'd like to do one for the Bellas, but it's purely... I won't, but that's kind of my thing. I'm always the first in line to go, you Bellas suck, fuck off.
Yeah, I'm not
But I will give credit where it's due, and it was only subtle, but when Ronda and the Bellas were raising their arms in victory, I think it was Nikki, was looking at the Raw Women's Championship. So just that subtle, like, she's eyeing that up.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if at Evolution it's Nikki versus
Ronda
for the Women's Championship.
There's rumours that might be the case.
Yeah, as long as the Bella don't win.
As Ronda doesn't lose, Because, I'm sorry, but it's never going to go away. Whenever I look at the Bellas, I think divas. And it's just like, I don't want that. I don't want those as champions for me. I don't care. The only reason that Brie gets a few cheers is because she's married to Daniel. I'm sorry, that's the case. She isn't a good wrestler. Nikki I couldn't give a shit about anyway. I don't care how fucking good looking they are. They're not good wrestlers.
Yeah, well, the unfortunate thing is, I mean, if I'd love Ronda to walk out of Evolution still with the championship, I don't want Nikki to beat her for the title, but it would kind of be that whole, we kind of predicted that. The unfortunate thing in my head is, oh shit, is someone going to come in, screw Ronda, and make her lose the belt to Nikki? So not a clean victory for Nikki, but unfortunately I see it going that way, possibly, because you want to make Evolution the first all-women's pay-per-view stand out with certain moments as well as certain matches. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm checking my list. Oh, what I thought was the match of the night, the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah, that was
good. Well, yeah, because I remember at the start, all of us were like, I can't really be asked for this. But
they got us invested straight away.
Well, yeah, Australia were obviously going to be invested.
Buddy
Murphy.
Buddy Murphy, that's it.
Because again, like we said earlier, we kind of fed off the energy of the crowd there through the television. So it was kind of like, right,
if they're invested, I'm going to sit forward and pay attention.
Yeah, it's kind of like a circle. thing. Well, not so, more a triangle, I suppose. If the crowd in the arena that night are electric, it's going to feed through the TV to people like us and through the engine, but it's also going to feed to the wrestlers in the ring, which is going to give them more incentive to, like, let's steal the fucking show here. And it was, you know, one of those, a cruiserweight classic. It had great technical wrestling, high spots.
Yeah, the high spots were good. That jump from the top rope, I can't remember what he did. But he turned it inside out. I don't know, it was amazing.
Yeah, well,
I have no idea what it was, but the flip and the landing was fucking perfection.
Well, yeah, Cedric hit his, I think it was something like, if I remember rightly, it was, I think Buddy tried for a clothesline, missed, hit the ropes to run back, and I think Cedric caught him in the Spanish fly, which is, the backflip thing, which I love that move anyway, and then followed it up with his finisher. And I think with, like, everybody else in the arena was like, that's it, unfortunately. But then when Buddy kicked out, it was that other surge of energy, like, come on, Buddy!
Yeah. And you wanted it to hit him to win so bad, because he just kept kicking out.
I mean, to be honest, as happy as I was for Buddy to win the Cruiserweight Championship, it was more, I was happy for him because he's in his hometown. It wasn't like, oh wow, I'm going to start watching 205 now, or really giving a shit about the Cruiserweight Championship, unfortunately. It was nice. I suppose it was also nice to go, cool, we got a title change tonight. At least one, because it was looking, I think that was the last championship match of the night.
Yeah.
So it was like, cool. So, yeah, they stole the show. Australia were happy. Buddy Murphy was happy. It might get a lot more fans invested in 205 Live. Well, 205 now. Apparently it's not live. No, I think they're putting it before SmackDown or something like that. I don't know. But, no, it was a very good match.
I really enjoyed it.
As basic as I can put it, really. It was a very good match. It is a recommendation.
And the next one was the Shield versus Ziggler, Drew and Braun, wasn't it?
Yes.
Good, but not great.
Yeah, it was one of them.
It wasn't like a gobsmacking moment. It was a solid match. It did what it needed to do. It told a story what it needed to do, especially with the teasing of Dean a couple of times. Because he got hit by a Superman punch, but then the next thing, he's about to get fucking attacked, and Reigns saves him and gets himself hit. You know what I mean? So it's like they were teasing. Then you had that moment where they're all standing against the ring. You got Seth and Reigns in the middle of the ring, and then Dean kind of pops up after being injured. And you think for a split second
he's going to surround them with Dolph.
Yeah, because he was there, and he had a nod like that. It was a slight nod. I was like, no way. And he just got in and just went and drop kick Braun. I was like, okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
But the way they teased it, that was the thing that kept me interested in the match, was the teasing of Dean.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's, do you remember like a WrestleMania where it's obviously through the night been teasing the Cena Taker thing? Mm. When Cena's music hit at WrestleMania, it was that vibe of, here we go, right, okay. And I think that's what WWE wanted with when Braun's music hit. I think they wanted that whole surge, like, here we go, the Shield versus, but it didn't really have that.
It was just a bit deflated.
It was kind of like, oh, it's this match, is it?
The crowd were a bit deflated.
Yeah, weren't they? But the Shield had a good entrance with, well, mainly because of the masks.
Yeah, the masks were pretty cool. But the crowd weren't giving them much space, though. That's the only thing. I couldn't really pick them out because the crowd weren't giving them room.
Yeah, well, when the match started, it was one of them where obviously that was it. All chaos just ensued. I mean, just FYI, back to the WWE Championship match. The fact that at the start they ran at each other on the ramp.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It was just a great way to start the match.
Like, they just fucking charged each other.
Yeah, it showed the hatred they've got for each
definitely.
other.
That was cool.
Anyway. I think the Shield and Braun and all that wanted to kind of replicate that. And I think they were hoping for, as soon as these 6 guys clash, they'll be like, but there was just nothing. Everyone was just kind of like, okay, get on with it. It wasn't, again, a bad match.
No.
It was just lack of investment by the crowd.
Yeah, and again, it's the same thing what we've been saying through the whole review.
Yeah.
If you haven't got that kind of energy, then naturally your energy dissipates a bit as well.
Yeah. The only time where it did kind of go, was the accidental Superman punch to Dean. Of like, oh, fuck up kind of thing. When all that happened, of like, yeah, fair enough, Roman saved Dean and Roman speared Strowman through the security barrier. That was a cool spot. During the surrounding part where it looked like Dean was going to possibly join Braun and all that, the only thing I would have done different, because as soon as he entered the ring, it was kind of like, he just shot out from between the ropes and dropkick Braun. I would have teased it a bit more. I would have had Dean give the nod to Drew, then Dolph, then Braun, to build on the fact like, he's doing this, he's turning, and then enter the ring and stand there for a while with them surrounded, just waiting for something to happen, and then Dean attack Dolph, Drew, Braun, whatever. Then it would be like, no, he's cool, he's still with the Shield, okay. But it's early days yet, so there still might be
they can spend a lot of time on it.
I mean, they have teased a possible Drew turn of Drew
they teased that as well.
Them, because rumour has it Drew's going to be in the main event spot soon, get a push. I don't know. It is one of them where, unlike where we want Joe and AJ to continue, I'm kind of not really bothered about another Strowman, Drew, Dolph, Shield thing. I think they need to kind of go back to the drawing board. I think
we were talking about it as well. It's the Shield are back, and it's great, but what did they come back for? No. And this is what we said. The main reason they got back together is because Dean came out of injury. Yeah. They didn't, you know what I mean? These Braun and Dolph and Drew joined because of the Shield come back together. It's like, it shouldn't be that way around. It should be the Shield come back because someone is running amok for too long, causing too many problems to the point where the Shield go, we're going to come back and we're going to stop this. It just kind of like, Dean's back. Let's get the band back together.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
it
like,
should
you
be
need
organic.
A reason.
It wasn't organic.
Yeah, it's like it was forced. It's like, right, Dean's back. I'll put them back together quickly quick before it dies out. It's like you don't need to do it straight away.
No.
Let them go off and do their own things, and you've got to leave for that absolute perfect moment, so that when you hear Sierra Hotel, you know what I mean, you're going absolutely spare.
Unfortunately, I think it's to do with ratings. Because as much as I don't want to admit it, it's kind of like if you're not watching wrestling for a while and you hear the Shield are on Raw, you're going to go, awesome. But it'll fall flat after that. You'll go, Shield
there's not a decent storyline behind it.
Yeah, exactly. You'll check out that footage on YouTube, go, the Shield are back. Maybe tune into Raw next week and go, okay. Now, that was a good moment, but that was it. It was just a moment. Mm. They need to think of the long game. And they kind of did it with the whole Taker Triple H thing. Because, again, if from the get-go the plan was always going to be Shawn in Triple H corner, Kane and Taker's, they could have announced that from the get-go. But, again, it would have been like, well, what's the point? Mm. But the build-up of that, of Shawn venturing his opinion, Taker goading him, and then kind of going, okay, we can see the reason why Shawn Michaels is going to be in the corner, and now we've got the reason for Kane to be there to make it fair. They gave a reason for it to happen. They didn't with the Shield.
Yeah, you just buy into it then.
Yeah.
If you give yourself a decent storyline or a decent explanation, then we will naturally buy into it.
Yeah.
But when we can see through the cracks and go, well, we know why you got back together. There's no reason except for the fact that they exist in the same brand at the moment. You know, and that's it. It's all you did.
Well, the friends of ours that are aware of wrestling but don't really give a crap about it, we could go to them, Shawn Michaels... we could go, Kane's going to be in Taker's corner this Saturday. Why? Because Shawn Michaels is in Triple H's corner. Fair enough. Shield are back together. Why? Don't know. Because there was no organic thing. Yeah, it would be different if it was like, because the Wyatt family are running them up, or the authority of being dicks, but there was no reason. It was purely to try and get a moment and more money without thinking of the long-term game.
And this is the problem with storylines these days. It's very rare we get a good storyline or a good feud, because all it is about is ratings and money. Yeah. And I understand it's a business, and I understand you have to make money. I totally get that. But when you're losing your storytelling ability, it's no good for no one, because we can see through the cracks.
We do live in a world with social media and all that, where either things will be leaked or fans of our age and our knowledge are quite smart on the whole, this is going to happen. When Jericho returned about 10 years ago, the second coming thing, they could have just not mentioned it. They could have kept it secret. And again, it would have been like, oh my god, Jericho returned on Raw, and then YouTube would explode, and the live ratings wouldn't have affected. But they did the smart thing of not revealing it was Jericho, but they did the whole Jericho code thing of subliminal messaging. So even if you didn't know it was Chris, you're like, I'm interested in this, something's going on. Then they did the Launch 19 thing, which someone figured out and goes, on the next Raw, that's going to be on the 19th. Will be like in November. So you've already figured out like whatever's going to happen will happen on that Raw, which automatically gets more viewers because you want to see it and you know Jericho. It was almost like a pay-per-view build-up, but for that it was like, we're going to watch because we know Jericho or whoever was behind the code will turn up on Raw tonight. With a pay-per-view, it's the same with going back to Charlotte and Becky. If you do it too much when they fight at a pay-per-view, it's not as special because we've seen it.
Yeah.
So
it's like when they gave Brian Almas away on SmackDown.
Yeah.
It's like, why? You should have left it ages before those two went against each other. You could have built it up as a welcome match, and you just give it away on SmackDown for nothing.
This kind of brings me to the next match, which might go down as one of the worst wrestling matches in history.
And one of probably the biggest botches.
It just... even after 24 hours, I can't get my head around it.
So yeah, Brian is... whoever wins gets the championship opportunity.
The match lasted 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
And it wasn't meant to. I don't care what they say. I don't know what press release comes out saying, no, that was the planned finish. I don't care how much money they shook towards Miz and Brian for just saying in an interview, no, that was how we planned it.
Yeah.
Bollocks. No, you didn't. I guarantee that when Brian went in for that roll-up pin, Miz didn't hear the first count, and he thought that the second count was the first and the third was the second, and that's why he didn't kick out quick enough.
That's a possibility. When I watched it, there was a lot of things just not making sense to me. Because, fair enough, some people do this...
It didn't even get going.
No, but the thing is, Miz did the running knee quite early on. Yeah. I know sometimes that does happen in matches, but sometimes, usually, that spot is left till near the end of the match. So, it's not like what they did when they were wrestling was bad.
No, I mean, they got the energy straight away.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And I was invested in the match enough to go... because it actually means something at the end of this. They get something at the end.
Match,
and it's good. It was fine. I'm looking forward to the match. And like you say, you get 2 minutes out of it. You're like, fuck. How deflated do you have to make me?
With what I saw, when the 3 count, whether it was a botched 3 count or not, happened, the ref put his finger to his earpiece almost to confirm, are we going with that? And it looked like they went with because the next thing he did was raise Daniel's hand.
You could see Daniel's eyes as well. He's like, this.
Like you said, there was the late ring of the bell. The music didn't start straight away. Even the commentators were like, was it Miz or Brian? Because the roll-up was weird. It looked like both the shoulders were down.
It was quick.
And the crowd were even when the 3 happened, it wasn't like 3 in the crowd were like, it was just 3. Huh?
Yeah.
What? But now I thought before that match, or during the match, so literally a minute before, it looked like there was blood on Daniel's hand. Now, I don't know if it came from a cut on his hand or if it was, I was just seeing things or whatnot. But if there was an injury, it might have been worse than we thought. They might have just gone over the top with how much they're trying to protect Daniel at the minute and go, just call it. But you could see at the end of the match, with all that confusion, that when Daniel was celebrating, so to speak, down the ramp, he was kind of had that vacant smile of hiding the embarrassment, knowing he fucked up. And there was Miz, 50% raging because of his character. Yeah. The other 50%, he was genuinely pissed off because he knew someone had fucked up. It could have been pissed off of himself. It could have been something Brian did. It could have been a call backstage, or it could have been the ref. We don't know, but it's 100% a fucking botch and a half. And it was
such a botch.
For the series of matches that Miz and Brian have had in the past.
I was invested with the feud. I was perfectly fine with the feud. Even though it's kind of met with the mixed tag thing. The only thing I thought I took away from that match was, well, they're keeping them separate without, like I said before, beating a dead horse. You don't want to keep putting them in singles matches, so you did that mixed tag to protect the two of them. So even though Maurice took, one for her team, it didn't really diminish Brian at all. So when they get back to going just against each other one-on-one in Super Show-down, you're like, okay, it's been over a month, let's do this.
There's a lot of things. It's one of those things that I'll probably keep my ear to the ground and on social media, because usually people like Joe.co.uk, LD Wrestling, or Give Me Sport will release an article hopefully explaining what the hell actually happened. But
I mean, like I said, I don't care what they say.
It was a botch.
Was not meant to go that way.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know who was meant to win. Maybe it probably still was going to be Brian, but it was meant to go on a lot longer.
Yeah, well, this is what kind of brings me back to Brian. I mean, unfortunately, I never thought I'd say there was a bad Daniel Bryan match in this day and age, but hey ho, shit happens.
That was one.
But with the Samoa Joe AJ thing, because they announced pretty much right there and then Crown Jewel, Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe. Now you mentioned earlier that they gave Brian Almas away for free. The SmackDown after WrestleMania, it was AJ Bryan.
And
fair enough.
They gave that away to him.
Yeah, but fair enough. They would go, well, there wasn't a definitive winner because it was open. Yes, but you're more invested in how good the match is more than the winner. And you gave away a WrestleMania. I know it's the SmackDown after Mania. You've got to make it big. But to me, AJ Daniel Bryan for the championship is a WrestleMania main event worthy match.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm kind of hoping that if Joe gets another shot at SmackDown 1000, he wins it, because I think the ratings are going to be quite big for SmackDown 1000 anyway, but give him a reason to tune in.
So you build it up as if it's going to be AJ Bryan and then have Joe steal it away from him.
Yeah, so have Joe Bryan at Crown Jewel. I'm fine with that. By all means, if you want to, open SmackDown 1000 with the WWE Championship and have Joe win the title at the start of the show. Great way to start the show. I'd prefer leaving AJ Bryan to WrestleMania. I'd be fine with Joe Bryan. It's a match I'd like to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Or, by all means, make it a triple threat. I'd be fine with Joe.
Yeah,
AJ Bryan.
AJ starts getting pissed off and threatening this, that, and the other. If you don't put me in the match, I have a legitimate reason. Blah blah blah.
Well,
I
AJ
want my rematch, so put me in. Then that way, him and Bryan, because if it ends up being a triple threat, you can get Bryan and him pissed off at each other. If he's getting pissed off because Bryan's saying no, this is my turn, then you've got AJ going, no, fuck you, I don't care about you, I want my rematch and I'm getting it. And that instantly builds a triple threat match where everybody has a gripe with everyone. Yeah,
I mean, by all means, if the smart thing to do would maybe have near the start of SmackDown, show Paige in her office. Maybe have Joe's leg bandaged up or be a little pussy and sell it on a crutch or something like that and demand another title shot. And Paige go, A, no, you're hurt. And B, that was your last chance. You blew it. Back in the back of the line. Which could incense Joe enough to do something horrible again with AJ's family. For the fact that AJ demands another shot at Joe. And then when Paige goes, no, it's Bryan next. That's been set. And AJ go, I don't care. I want Joe. Otherwise I'm not turning up the Crown Jewel. Which would... To have AJ pretty much hate Joe that much that he's like, give him another shot because I want to get my hands on him. Yeah, it can create things with Bryan of going, no, this is my turn.
Yeah.
Joe had his shot. And AJ going, I don't care, it's not about you. It's like, well, there's your feud.
There's your feud.
I'm going, what do you mean it's not about me? I can beat you, blah, 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 blah. That's organic.
Yeah, definitely.
So
there you go, WWE. We've got a storyline for you, so fucking listen and do it.
Yeah, and just try and say, and by all means, save Miz's career as well. I don't think that one match should reflect how good Miz has been recently.
Yeah.
But the next was the main event.
Main event, yeah. They're building it. Triple H, Undertaker, one last time. And then it ended up being no DQ. They said it's now no DQ. I was like, okay, fine, spice it up. That's good.
Yeah.
It's
a weird one to call.
It is. You're happy for the moment, but it was also very surreal. And there was a couple of botches as well.
It was, and there was elements.
There was just something where I felt deflated.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get really into it because when we were discussing, the three of us, we were sitting there chatting about it, going, I'm nervous every time.
See, I wasn't nervous.
Every time something's going down with Taker, more than Triple H, I'm thinking, ooh, like the snake eyes thing, because the ropes were a little bit loose.
Yeah, it was more, nervous is the whole kind of if they announced it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Of course I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I don't want Daniel to get hurt.
Don't ever do that.
But with that, it was more just disappointment. Because it was the whole, especially for me, because obviously...
Considering their last match ever, the end of an era, was incredible.
That's
one of the best Hell in a Cell matches we've ever witnessed. And it's and then you kind of gone out on a bum note.
Yeah, it was one of them where I knew going in it was never going to hold up to that calibre of match. So it was a concern, and unfortunately, don't get me wrong, 25% of what happened was good. Unfortunately, 75% wasn't great, and the other unfortunate part is I kind of expected something like that. It was kind of you're hoping you weren't going to see it, but it did. Some of the good stuff was the spots that happened that went well were good. for me, the Triple H throwing an elbow off the ring apron through a table to Kane is like, right, Triple H never did anything like that in his career. It's not part of his character or his moveset.
No, he's more heavy hitter than the
by all means, have Shawn do it.
Yeah.
Kane just seemed like a wet fart out there.
He didn't really want to... Like, he looked bored when he was walking down the ramp. He just didn't want to be there. That botch as well when Taker tried to throw Triple H over onto the barrier. And Triple H just kind of slumped into it. I was just like... Oh, but again, on, guys.
Some of it was like, was that Taker's fault or was it Triple H's fault? Because Triple H didn't even look that on form.
Think about that. It's Taker and Triple H, they've wrestled so many times, they know each other really well, they're probably best friends. You would expect them to know each other well enough to carry it better than that.
Yeah. I liked how it started, because at the start of it, it's like, obviously, the start, you do have to create the pace, so it's going to be slow.
Yeah, it's just like, it's fine being a slow burner, that's not the point.
Triple H's character of trying to go Taker.
Yeah, he was being really kind of...
I liked that, though.
I didn't, because it was weird, because like, when they were building up towards the feud, it made it seem like Triple H was the face... not the underdog, but the face in this. It wasn't being an arsehole building up to the feud, he was being honest. Just like Taker was, I suppose. They were kind of both faces, because they both had a point. But then when the bell rang, it was kind of like Triple H was instantly being a dick. I was like, but you weren't last week.
I think it was more... to me, there was like an element of DX through how dickish she was being. But it was also, I think, trying to get into Taker's head. Especially when he did the bit where he put his hands behind his back and held his chin out. It's like, he's trying to piss him off, he's trying to get in his head, and he's trying to back up the fact what he said a few weeks before, going, you don't have it anymore. Almost trying to get through to Taker, like, you were a threat back then, you're not now.
Yeah. But Shawn Michaels got involved a few times. He got knocked on his ass a few times.
He did. A lot of the time, though, with both Kane and Shawn, it seemed like they didn't know where they had to be at that point, or where the cue was.
Especially Kane.
They were just like flies just swarming around the ring, going, what do we do? Where do we go? What's going on?
No, get Taker.
Oh, you must be over here. I'm down. Oh, do I attack you, even though I'm standing right behind you? Yeah.
Just walk up to Michael Cole. What do I do?
What I did take from Taker, because I said from the get-go, I know he had his match with Rusev and his 2-minute party with John Cena at WrestleMania, but it was the first time his hip surgery was going to be tested. And he didn't look great, but his movement was a lot smoother. He looked, especially with how fast he could throw his punches again. So there were good elements. What I did like was that he teased the dive over the top rope. There was no way, you can do this.
No.
But the fact that he ran for it, and then Triple H hit him with a chair. Okay, good. Because that's when I was nervous. Do not kill yourself. Yeah. Oh my god.
We didn't get a sit-up, though.
We didn't get a suck it.
Didn't get a suck it either.
It seemed more of... I know I was backing it up with Taker's always claimed that he's the most evil entity to ever step foot in the ring. But he seemed less of his evil character, more of attempting a heel turn, of how he was trying to goad Shawn to, I will end Triple H, not by beating him, but I will break his neck, I'll break his legs, unless you come in and do something, or you're afraid.
Yeah.
I got the storyline they were trying to get over. Shawn did get involved. There was that whole thing where Triple H did stomp on the chair with Taker's head in it, but it kind of again fell flat, and you never genuinely thought, oh my god, Taker's hurt. It was just kind of like...
Because you know they're going to wrestle safe, because it's Taker.
Yeah. What I didn't really understand... I'm glad I was right. I love being right. I called that Triple H... I called that Triple H was going to win, and he did.
I think we kind of...
It was time for Triple H's time.
I think it's... Yeah.
To
be honest, I wasn't that bothered. Either way, no matter who won this match, I wasn't first to either way who won. It's just it was about the spectacle, which obviously was lackluster, but it's not the point.
But the whole thing of I was fine with the whole. Yeah, okay, all four of you raise your arms in the air. You're the last 4 Chidera guys.
Yeah, he grabbed him a handshake, pulled him up, and everything. They all kind of.
And then the attack.
Yeah, that I didn't expect.
Fair enough.
I thought it was over. We were just kind of sit there. And whoa!
I like the surprise, but it's kind of like
why?
And is this going to lead on to something that? When all is said and done, the fans don't really want it.
Yeah, leading towards the Shawn thing.
Probably. I mean,
if anyone who doesn't know, they've been leading rumours for ages that Shawn wants to come back for one more match, or they're trying to goad him into doing in one more match. I don't know how it's working out. and the rumour is it's Brothers Destruction versus DX. Now, I'm sorry, he shouldn't be coming out of retirement anyway, but he shouldn't be coming out of retirement for a fucking tag match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's only two options. He either goes against Taker one more time, which... shouldn't
happen at WrestleMania.
No.
It shouldn't happen.
You know, if that's what you want to do one time, fine. Or it should be him against someone new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, if it's just going to be that tag match, I know it keeps them safe, because it means they don't have to wrestle constantly, but it's just kind of like, really? After all this time of being retired and he comes out for that, I'm not going to be bothered.
I don't know if it's the itch. I don't know because if it happens at Crown Jewel, I know Saudi Arabia will be throwing millions. But again, it's that whole thing of, it's not like you're poor.
Yeah.
You're a millionaire anyway.
You've got a ranch, isn't it?
Yeah, so it might be more the itch. I'm hoping if it's going to be anything, it just DX, Brothers Destruction at Crown Jewel. Maybe it will lead on to another match for Shawn. See, wouldn't surprise me if it's Taker's request to go, I want my last match to be against Shawn because they're the best matches I've ever had.
Mm.
But he can't expect another match to be as good as his last two with Shawn. And if he was really honest with himself, he knows he can't keep up with that kind of caliber of match. And he wouldn't want to end on a flat note, like you said.
That's the thing, but again, this is the problem with Taker. They're letting it go on and on and on. Every single year for the last 6 or 7 years, we said, this is going to be it. It's got to be his last one. And every single year we're wrong. And it's like, you've got to get to a point where if when his last match does happen, because it will happen, you've got to make it epic.
Yeah.
And if he's too old and he can't go, it's not going to be epic. You're going to sit there going, that was alright.
Yeah.
The only thing you're going to get invested in is the fact that once he's done, you know he's done. That's it.
It's got to the point now where when he appeared at WrestleMania 34 and all the Manias before, it was like, Taker's back. As a fan, I was marking out, loved it. When WrestleMania 35 comes around, which I am going on record, I want that to be his last.
Yeah, definitely.
I won't feel the same. Maybe it's because we've seen him a lot more this year than we thought. But it's kind of like, here we go again, more than Taker's back. And will I miss Taker when he's gone? Of course I will. Do I care about him retiring before he gets hurt? Yes, I don't want to get hurt. But also, it's getting to the point where it's getting stale.
Yeah.
And you don't want a legend like that to get stale. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
To get stale. So, I don't know. If Shawn is going to come back and, depending on if the DX Brothers Destruction thing does happen, it will show if he can still go. If he's totally honest with himself, he will know at the end of the match if it went well or not. And if it went well, again, everyone would rather see Shawn AJ.
Yeah.
Even AJ would want that.
Yeah, so that's what he said. He got a record saying, if I was going to get anyone at any legend,
Shawn AJ. Yeah, so, it was one of those kind of shows.
There's another thing as well, just to mention, the camel work.
Oh, it was shit.
It was rubbish. I don't know who they got into the camel work this time, but they weren't your regular guys because they were
all
crap.
over the place.
They were all over the place, yeah.
Also,
just disappointment.
What I don't get, and this is a stand-up, this is Justice for Kane. # Justice for Kane. You got all those pyrotechnics around for the fireworks at the start of the show, end of the show, Taker's got the fire, and yet 5 seconds before Taker's entrance with fire, Kane can't even have one big bang of pyros. He's just got to be the speakers going,
yeah,
and then his music.
Like a wet fart.
Yeah, give it. He's meant to be the demon that controls fire, so give the motherfucker fire. What's the brother going to do to get some fire in here? Oh my god! I'm going to get some fire up in this bitch. It was exactly what we expected it to be. It was a glorified house show.
Yeah,
we'll call it at that. And
I'm probably going to go for a 6.
No,
I'm going 6. Are they?
Yeah, I'll go with 6. Yeah.
Okay, 6 out of 10.
So yeah, it was kind of like there was good spots.
It was above average.
Bad spots. There was botches that we can forgive, some that we can't, and some where we just like. Again, it's that high. It's more hope of like this could lead somewhere. That was good. Bag. And then there was other sides of going, what was that? Or fuck off. No.
Yeah.
So
it was a very mixed bag.
Yeah. So yeah, Super Show-down.
Yeah, have we got 3 weeks until Evolution?
2 weeks. Well, I think maybe 2 or 3. You let us know. Comment.
Yeah, we'll be back for obviously Evolution.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be another 24 hours after because I can't get time off work to watch it. So Evolution, and then it won't be. I think the week after that's Crown Jewel.
It's non-stop.
So yeah, we got
up to one pay-per-view a month.
Yeah, we might mention SmackDown 1000 in Evolution podcast as well, probably, depending on how well the show goes. So yeah. Thank you.
That was it. Yeah, like, subscribe. I think the voting is still going on for the awards. So, again, if you haven't already, go over, vote for us. There's loads of things going on.
We'll give you money.
Retweets, likes, shares, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks for Evolution.
Yeah, we'll be back. Bye!